Actually, let me get a little closer and fix them. Sometimes it can be so annoying adjusting the camera like this. Good news is, I am feeling loads better compared to Monday. So happy hump day to me. Bad news is though, my appetite is still kind of shot. And good Lord, am I dehydrated. Like, I mentioned that yesterday I was in bed for 14 hours. Bro, my urine looked like ginger ale. I was so dehydrated. Holy cow. For the record, that's not the first time I've ever heard that comparison. It's also not the first time I've heard that comparison referring to me. Any wrestlers out there making certifications? Yeah, you'll know what it is. So, yes, I am feeling much better. Thank you for those of you who reached out in concern. Thank you. I greatly appreciate that. You know, your words really do mean a lot to me. Thank you. Thank you very much. So, yeah. That was a rather horrible spell of unpleasantness, wasn't it? It's so weird. Like, I had never been sick before. Not like that. Not in a really long time. I think I gotta go back to like middle school the last time I was ever that uncomfortably ill for like that long a period of time. I mean, the closest I'd really gotten to this bad was the day after I got my second COVID shot. That completely destroyed me. But even that wasn't as bad as Monday. Whatever my nephew had, now I'm really hoping. Actually, my mom saw my nephews yesterday, and they're all doing okay. Although, of everyone in my family, to my knowledge, the only one that hasn't gotten that sick has been my youngest. The one who I believe is 19 months old at the moment. Which, call it luck or call it whatever, but, you know, there's something to be said about how he hasn't really even been sick yet. Although, watch, I'm sure my mom will probably see my nephew on Thursday, and then he's gonna be sick. So, let's get to my low and my high in the act of kindness. Well, to be honest, my low is the fact that, again, my appetite is still kind of shot, but my high is that I'm feeling much better. And my act of kindness was yesterday I took out the garbage cans for my folks because today is garbage day. Took care of that for them. And yeah. So I thought long and hard about what I was going to do today for today's video. And a bit of inspiration came last night when 3 guys I know had gotten together after a really long time. And next to a photo of the 3 of them, they posted that one GIF from Hangover where it's like the 3 best friends that anyone could have. And that reminded me, I haven't done a MoReas on the Hangover Trilogy, haven't I? Have I? Wow, I just used that's how sick I still am. Apparently I still can't do proper grammar. So in honor of the 3 best friends that anyone could have, how about I do the Hangover Trilogy? I'll never forget when I first saw this movie. Many years ago. It was 2009, and I had just gotten out of train calling. Now, I had seen some commercials about The Hangover, and a lot of people were giving like great reviews. But I was a bit skeptical until one night, my father, my brother, and I wanted to go see the movie. It was a Friday night. And good Lord, it was a packed house. It was a packed house. I don't think I saw an empty seat anywhere in that theater. I just got a gift from a message from a friend. Anyway, so I think I know what the note's gonna say too. I'll let's just say if you're a Dazed and Confused fan, you'll get what it is. Anyway, so I saw Hangover that night, and at the time I thought it was one of the funniest things I'd ever seen. And there is a reason why all these years it's still talked about as like a comedy classic, even though it came out in like, wow, 2009. That's not even 15 years ago. It's not even 14 years ago, actually, to my knowledge. And it's considered a classic. And rightfully so. So for those who don't know how The Hangover works, it's basically, there are these four guys. Doug, played by Justin Bartha. Phil, played by Bradley Cooper. Stu, played by Ed Helms. And Alan, played by Zach Galifianakis. And Justin Bartha's character is getting married. And they want to have literally the weekend of his wedding. They wanted to go to Las Vegas for a bachelor party. And like they get to Vegas, they go to the Caesar's Palace. They get like one of the best suites they have there. They work their way to doing that, or sort of finagle their way into doing it. And so they get to the rooftop of the hotel, and before they head out for what's supposed to be a rousing night of fun and possibly debauchery, Alan decides to give them a shot of Jägermeister. For those of you who don't know what Jägermeister is, it's a liquor that does have its place. It's very sweet. In fact, I'm a fan of Greg from How to Drink. Shout out to Greg from How to Drink. And he had the best description for Jägermeister, which is essentially very sweet absinthe. And if any of you are drink aficionados out there and you know what absinthe is, that's what Jägermeister is. Very sweet absinthe. So there you go. Now, you would think after that shot of Jaeger, after the shot of Jaeger, it fast forwards to the next day. It shows all three guys in the hotel room, and it is completely destroyed. Destroyed. Like, there's a chicken walking around. They somehow get a tiger in the bathroom. I can't believe how much that still makes me laugh even now. And they're trying to recollect what happened. Because, most importantly, they're missing Doug, the groom. He is missing. They know not where he is. So the movie is basically the three guys trying to recap their steps. And without giving too much away, there was something more to that shot of Jaeger that Alan put in. And all throughout this movie, like, everything that the guys did the night before is coming back at them. And it's coming back at them hard. Like, really hard. Like, it turns out the tiger belonged to Mike Tyson, which leads to one of the best songs I've ever heard in a movie. Okay, you know what? Yeah, I'm not gonna sing it because I don't want to get flagged. But look up Stu's song from The Hangover. You'll know what it is. And the finale of the movie is essentially one of the people that they hung out with the night before was essentially a mobster known as Mr. Chow, played by Ken Jeong, which was easily his breakout role at the time. And it turns out that the guys actually took $80,000 worth of chips from him. So it turns out that, well, really, Mr. Chow did have Doug, just not our Doug. He had Black Doug. That's the one time I'll be saying that, by the way. Anyway, so literally that whole night, they try and get $80,000 by essentially counting cards in the casino. Which, listen, personally, I've always felt that the jury's out as to whether or not you can count cards in a casino. Honestly, if you're going to do it, be smart about it, please. I mean, at the very end of the day, those people in the casinos have lives too. And they want to be able to pay for those lives, you know? But I'm getting sidetracked here. Oh yeah, it also turns out that Stu got married. He was actually engaged to be married. He was actually going to ask his really horrible girlfriend to marry him, but he married a stripper. I can't say that anywhere else. He married a stripper. So they find Doug, who's completely sunburned, because it turns out Doug was on the roof. And the door to the roof was locked from the outside. So he can't get back inside. Which, good Lord, I can only imagine how Doug must have felt after like a day of like complete hot and dehydration or whatever. So yeah, they get to the wedding, and the ultimate payoff is true. We only throughout the movie you just get hearsay as to what the guys did the night before. But luckily, Alan actually saved a camera, and on that camera was photos of pretty much everything they did. It's one of the greatest comedic payoffs I've ever seen. They played that camera roll through the credits. Everyone in the theater was laughing their heads off. What can I say, man? The Hangover's a classic for a reason. Now let's get into Hangover 2 and 3. So, I actually did see all 3 Hangover movies in the theater. And the weekend that Hangover 2 came out was also the same weekend that another movie I was greatly looking forward to came out, which was Kung Fu Panda 2. Now, here's the funny thing. I knew I wanted to see Hangover 2 with my dad, because I saw it with my dad the first time. So I went to see Kung Fu Panda 2 by myself. At a midnight showing, actually. Funny enough, remember those 3 guys I mentioned that got together and they were like 3 best friends everyone have that I know? One of those 3 guys at the time was actually working security at the Arnett Mall. And, you know, he was telling me that it's packed up there for Hangover 2. Meanwhile, I went to see Kung Fu Panda 2. And no kidding, I was the only person in that entire audience room watching Kung Fu Panda 2. At some point, I'm going to be doing a MoReas on the Kung Fu Panda movies. But I can tell you for a fact that that night I saw the better movie. Because while Hangover 2 is funny, it's pretty much beat for beat what Hangover 1 is. Not not what you would consider a step up from before. I mean, they tried keeping it a little different, Like, instead of Stu losing a tooth, like he did in the first movie. Oh yeah, he loses a tooth in the first movie. He gets a tattoo. Instead of marrying a stripper, he has relations with one. I'd rather not say what gender it is. Actually, come to think of it, Stu was probably the funniest character in that movie. Now I think about it. But basically, by the end of the second movie, no one really trusts Alan. Because Alan was the same reason that they messed up in both movies. So the third movie, they're like, that's it. We gotta get Alan some help. And literally everything that was culminating from the first two movies was finally biting the four guys in the rear end. Which you think would make for a great finale to a trilogy. It wasn't. I mean, I give the actors all the credit in the world for trying to make it work. Particularly Bradley Cooper and Ed Helms. Because in all three movies, they really were the voice of reason. And they definitely played their parts well. But by the end of the third movie, I really just could not stand Zach Galifianakis as Alan. Not Zach, I like Zach Galifianakis, don't get me wrong. But I just couldn't stand Alan. And don't get me wrong, I'm glad I did see it. I can say I saw all three Hangover films, for better or for worse. I had my share of laughs. They were fun. But honestly, if I'm going to watch the Hangover movies again, it's definitely going to be the first one. And maybe the second one if a bunch of people are together and they just happen to be watching it because we got nothing better to do. Something along those lines. I'd watch the third one at your own peril. I'll just keep it there. But while I think that the movies got progressively worse over time, I don't think it takes away from what the first Hangover movie was. A comedy classic that you definitely need to see. And I was actually lucky. Since I took my PG year at Trinity Pauling, next year I was going into college. By the time I got to Gettysburg College, everybody was talking about The Hangover. And I get the feeling that people are still talking about The Hangover, even now. I hope you all liked this video. If you did, like and subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow me on social media. As always, I am very humbled to make this video for all of you guys watching. Enjoy today. And hopefully you have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful Wednesday. And remember, if you guys want to talk to channel, is going to be here to London. And I'll always hear back. Take care and make good choices. 607 all day, baby.